if you played a game called Take a Shot Every Time Virginia Says Thank You, what would happen? And I think I asked you this during the show, and you said you'd have to wheel me to the hospital and get me a liver transplant.
Yeah.
It was a lot. A lot.
I mean, I think it's just her default thing.
Well, she does get a lot of compliments. It's like, Virginia.
Yeah, that's true.
You're so pretty. Thank you. Welcome to another episode of A Fine Podcast with Amanda and
Joseph. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. We are here for episode 13 of Love is Blind.
That's right, the wedding episode.
And what some shocking results we see here.
Yes, I can't believe it. We just got finished watching it tonight. And
Well, yeah, because it came out tonight.
exactly, we're right on time with recording this podcast, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes it's a couple days later or a day later.
Yes. Well, it's probably because we didn't have 6 hours of watching to do.
That's true. It really helped that we only had one episode.
Well, I mean, honestly, we had 3 hours last time, and now we had 2 hours this time, so I guess it was 1 hour shorter, but it still felt a lot shorter, though, I guess.
At some points it seemed long, but
yeah.
Yeah, if it was multiple episodes, there'd be no way we would have been able to finish and record tonight. But yeah, very interesting things to talk about here. Some shocking moments, some thankfully not shocking moments. So we will go through the 4 couples.
But first, how are you?
How am I? Wow, thanks for asking. I am doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Gee, I'm just doing willy-nilly great.
No, you're not. Let's
Philly.
be real. Let's be real. We had a pretty good week, but something that's been happening lately is we've been challenging each other on this word game.
Okay.
Talk about our word game. What is it called, by the way? Just the memory of it's giving him nightmares. He can't even talk about it.
It's an app called Play-Doh, but there's multiple games in the app. But
It's Plato, and there's a lot of great games on there, but the one that we are hooked on at the moment is called
one
what?
of us is hooked on it.
Oh, no. One of us is hooked on it a lot, but the other one's hooked on it when he loses one time and then he makes me play against him so he can beat me.
Yeah.
What is it called?
I have to keep you in your place.
Yeah, don't worry. When you look at, like, when you're done with a game, it'll tell you how many times you've won and how many times the other person has won. And I think, what am I at and what are you at? 100 and he's at 100 and...
I'm close to like 75 games ahead of you. You have a chance of winning 33% of the time, but you lose 66% of the time.
Thanks for calculating that out.
Yes. But anyway, so she's obsessed with this game.
Well, he likes it, but then sometimes he really doesn't like it.
Well, yes, there was the other night you actually had a couple wins in a row. And it was
I had 6 wins in a row. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And
very uncommon, so it was
then all of a sudden I saw his eyes light up like I've never seen before, and he was so eager. I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this game now. I think it's time to go to sleep after 6 games. And he's like, no. We will sit here and play. And then he won 6 times after that to defeat me.
Yeah, but that's because it's every night I'm ready to go to bed, and then you're like, oh, one more, and then it turns into like 5 more every time. So then finally it was like, for once I was like, oh no, it's 1 more now. Or I didn't say 1 more, but
6
I just
more.
said play again.
Play again.
But
Yeah, I totally get it though. The person who's losing wants to keep playing so they could have a fighting chance at winning something.
yeah. Anyway, it's called Word Box within the Play-Doh
Word
app.
box.
But it's like, I don't know, you have like a 4x4 grid or a 5x5 grid, and you have different letters, and you try to spell words out.
And then they have one letter that's highlighted, and you can score more points.
Double points, yes, for that one letter if you incorporate it into your word.
But what is really bad is when the letter is X or something, and there's only so many words you can make with that.
Yeah.
Last night was the first night we haven't played, which was really sad, but you had to do work early, so what can you do?
Yeah.
And then I said, maybe we should just take this game out of our lives. It's taking control over our lives. And you're not having any fun when you keep winning. And I'm not having any fun, honestly, losing all the time. So I don't know. It was when he couldn't play last night, I played the bot. And then I felt like, wow, I can actually win this thing.
Yeah, just get some training and then come back to me once you've improved
Okay,
your
but
skill.
me losing, let's talk about me losing. I lose when we score the same points. Like we'll both score 84 or we'll both score 124. But he got to the point right before I did. So that's not like a massive loss. Or we'll be off by like 1 to 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not blowing you out of the water, but I mean, a win's a win. Doesn't matter if it's an inch or a mile, in the words of Vin Diesel.
Well,
The Fast and the Furious.
do you know who's not worrying about who's beating one another at games? Sarah
Ben and Sarah.
and Ben. Oh, this was such tragedies happened on this episode. But yeah, we'll start with Sarah and Ben. We were left on the cliffhanger last time of Sarah and everyone wondering what she was going to say. Will she say I do? Will she say no? So then it opens up right there. And
All right, this was not a cliffhanger because it was like a telltale giveaway. Yeah, so we pick up where we left off, where we had the big cliffhanger
the fake cliffhanger.
of what is Sarah gonna say to Ben, and you could obviously tell from the cliffhanger part that she's looking away, her eyes are getting red in the corners, and she's about to start, getting emotional and to not say no or to not say yes. And they finally come back, and lo and behold, she says no. Well, not directly no, but she says, I can't do this.
She says, I always wanted a partner that was on the same wavelength as me. So today I can't.
Yes. Now here's a little bit of like a thing is we see this big theme of when they're supposed to say I do, and it gets opened up with I love you so much, and then it's like this is the worst time to have, or you'd want to hear like I love you so much or I love you or all this stuff, because
And also she doesn't even mean it.
Yeah, I mean this whole of I love you so much but I just can't do it and I want someone on the wavelength, and I don't know if it's
Yeah, that is the worst
amicable
thing.
thing. That's maybe one thing, but
I love you so much. That means we are absolutely not doing this. It's
yeah, I mean, it sounds in the context of like a romantic I love you so much, but this isn't going to work, which is just strange because it's.
yeah, she says, everything's amazing about you. I love you so much. And Ben says, oh, I love you too. And can we continue to date after this? And she said, oh, we'll see. We can talk about that after. She was like totally caught off guard here.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. She was definitely not expecting that response from him, I don't think. I mean, she looked taken aback when he said that. And then she even had a talking head later on when he said that, I was totally baffled.
I thought he would understand that once we broke things off here, we would not be dating anymore. And I don't want to date him anymore.
Yeah, she like assumed this was the end of it, but she didn't even say that. I mean, yeah, I guess you would think, right, that it would ultimately, because who's going to come back from? Has anyone ever done? I wonder if that's ever been a thing where they've said no then, but then they continue dating, and
I don't think it's ever worked out.
I can't imagine that it would, because it would be so weird, and let alone you go the second time to the wedding or whatever, and how would you have any confidence that the person's going to say yes this time around versus any other time?
I would think if it did work out, it would be years in the future, and then you'd have that confidence, or yeah, but you'd still be having some flashbacks like, oh yeah, remember when I got
Yeah.
dumped at the altar? But ultimately, I don't think it would ever work out. I think you either have a gut feeling that this is your person, and if you say no that day, I don't see how it's really going to get that much better with time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be scarring forever on their relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't see how it would ever work out.
But he kind of, the way he asked her in front of everybody kind of left her like that was the only response she could really give him is, "Oh, we'll see. We'll talk about this later," because what is she supposed to say up there with everybody? No.
Yeah.
She'd look like an even bigger jerk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was uncomfortable.
Yeah. So but here's the other thing is he wasn't even that emotional about it either. I mean, he looked like I think right as she was saying the words, he did look like he was getting like a little teary eyed. But all in all, I mean, he didn't seem to be unless he just held it off until cameras were gone, and then he started crying heavily or something. But there was no I don't know. I didn't get much of like he was even super invested in it. I mean, he was, but I don't know, just not like to the point of devastation where we see one of the other couples, which I would kind of expect going into this. But
Yeah, it's really weird. Like I couldn't figure him out. Very straight faced. Okay. Yes, guys, it didn't work out to his friends.
yeah, either he just really was super mature about it, or just didn't have much, or didn't have super heavy feelings.
Yeah, I can't tell if he was holding it in. Maybe, like you said, he was,
Yeah,
and he didn't want this to happen on camera and just wanted to be in private with his emotions about everything. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, that would have been very impressive if that was the case. But the other, I don't even understand how this even got to the altar.
so in the car with her mom and sister, Sarah goes over all the doubts she had in her head, and basically all the doubts were about those topics that she brought up continuously with him and heavily in the pods as well, such as Black Lives Matter, the LGBTQ, and also vaccines, she said, and his church's stance on marriage, too. And she said, all these things combined, this is why I can't move forward with Ben. And actions speak louder than words. And if he would have acted on a lot of these things, that would have changed things for her. But it was almost like in the pods, you can probably tell that they weren't going to be a good match then.
Yeah, I mean, seeing their conversations in the pods, I really didn't think they were that aligned on things, and
I was just shocked it even continued on after the pause. Then it looked to be going semi well after that because they weren't talking about any of those things. And then once they started to talk about those things again, it was
well, I think Sarah kept trying to talk about them, and then Ben was just very passive about them and didn't have much to say on it. And I think that was part of what led to her, decision ultimately, was because she wanted someone a lot more gung ho with her alignment on things, and he really wasn't that, so it didn't work out. But I mean, it just, I mean, you knew this before altar day, I guess. Why
bring
did it
it
even
to
have
the
to go
altar?
there? Why couldn't this just been, hey, I've been thinking, especially like the day before or something, and just I really don't think this is going to work out, and we're probably better off splitting ways at this point.
Agreed. Why drag us through getting the dress on, getting the suit on, getting all the decor, all of our family and friends, our parents, and everybody close to us all together in this one room just to watch us both say no to each other? Why? Why did we have to do that?
Yeah.
That was a mistake. It should have ended in the pods, but it didn't. So it should have ended after the pods then.
I mean, they had that last conversation at their glamping site. I don't
And that didn't look great either, right?
No, I don't know what. I mean, that was their last day before the wedding. I don't know how many days that was before the actual wedding day. I wonder how many days that was. But I would have almost thought, even then or the next day, to have a conversation and just be like, "Hey, look, I don't think we're, this just isn't gonna work." Or yeah, I don't know. I'm just shocked that it got as far as it did.
Yeah. It seemed like Ben would have went along with anything this whole entire time. Like it didn't
Yeah,
matter at all to him. But she was the one who was having all these doubts because of the way he answered a lot of these questions for her.
right. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
But he should have picked up on him not being the right match for her. I don't know. Yeah, I really can't figure it out. Were they just trying to stick it out for the challenge, the Love is Blind challenge on TV or what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
They just
But
seemed like a
anyway.
really bad match for each other, and then that proved to be true.
Yes.
I guess I'm shocked that he wanted to continue dating after that.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, he still was, and maybe that could have been just a heat of the moment or something. I mean,
Well, I think he said it after too.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think like almost that whole day he was probably somewhat in like a shell shock state, and I feel like maybe give it a day or two or something, and then maybe he'd realize, hey, probably it's better to not have done that, or even something along the lines of that. But
Maybe you're right. Maybe the cameras and everything was clouding his judgment, and then a couple days later, he can see things for what they are. Like, oh man, like we're not a good match for each other, actually.
yeah,
So Ben said he did his best and he was himself the whole time, and his friends pray with him after. And were they drinking? The cans they were drinking from looked like they were monogrammed and particular to Ben and Sarah.
well, it looked like they had a picture of them on the can, and maybe something a little bit about them or their journey or something. But yeah, it looks like they had the
Sad.
drinks with the can. So yeah, that was
It's like you have to eat food or drink whatever you were planning to have for your ceremony without having the or reception without having it.
yeah, yeah, it was very. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So all in all, I mean, it happened, but
Now it's over.
yeah, I mean, I will say, I mean, all in all, I mean, it's at least better, as tough and painful as it was, to at least done it. I do think at least they did it. It was smart enough to at least do it now, because I think they would have never worked out in a marriage to begin with. So at least they did it beforehand to just save further. I mean, I think the longer it got delayed, obviously, the longer, more difficult it was. But anyway, yeah, I think all in all, I mean, it was good. I think for them, because it probably would have never worked to begin with.
I agree. So we end with Sarah's interview. She says she was shocked Ben asked to continue dating and she desperately wanted it to be over, the relationship. So she doesn't want to continue the cycle with him. Everything's over. The end.
Yeah, yeah, it's done.
I guess we'll see on the reunion what their thoughts are now on everything.
Yeah, if they've talked any since then, or
I can't wait to figure Ben out at the reunion.
yeah, I wonder if he'll actually have more. I imagine he'll probably have some more things to say about stuff, and I don't think he'll be as wishy washy going into that, because I think the pressure's off at that point. But we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see. Our next couple, Joey and Monica.
Definitely we said last week going in, I felt they were strong, and then we saw the previews. There's some previews before the episode came out, and then there's so much attention to all this doubt all of a sudden. Or I don't know, at least that it started creeping in, I guess, at the end of the episode 12, but then it was just like the forefront of everything of all this doubt all of a sudden, and then
Well, and we saw their reunion pictures, and both of their outfits clashed in colors.
well, yeah, you picked up on this, showing that yeah, their outfits were totally. So if they were coming in as a couple, they would have looked terrible.
Yeah, it was like she's wearing this bright red dress and he's wearing this maroon jacket, and yeah, it doesn't fit. They definitely didn't come there as a couple. So I thought, wow, they gave it away with that. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, because I didn't think about that. Well, because I would have never picked up on that. But yeah, you brought that up, and then there was some TikTok that somebody said they already knew that they didn't make it.
Yeah,
or
why are
something.
people giving out spoilers like this?
Oh, because if they know, they're gonna love to
Yeah, I wish I didn't
spill
read that
before
comment.
that. But I don't know. So then it was, then it really was like, wow, maybe they don't really end up together. And then during the episode, my confidence, I felt like, was just plummeting, and
Like as it went
them
on,
making-
it just kept going down and down and
yeah,
down.
because they were never. I mean, they weren't excited about the wedding. I mean, they were just like, oh yeah, and here's the decision. Maybe I'll say yeah, maybe I'll no, or maybe no. And
Well, the thing Monica kept saying is, I'm just going to wait to see what he says. And if he's 100% in and he says yes, I think that would mean that I would say yes.
that was a lot. Yeah, that I felt like was. I don't know. I don't know if that's a great
I don't
reason to
I think that's a good.
dive in.
Yeah,
And then
no.
Joey was like, once I'm up there, I'll just know the feeling of,
Yeah, he
of what I
goes,
feel of whether it'll be yes or no.
I'm very
And then
in
it's
the
just like-
moment. I'm an in the moment man. So I'll just make the decision as soon as I get up there.
yeah. Then it was like, all right, I don't.
The two of them, it's like,
neither of
what?
them are like, I don't think, gonna act on the right.
No, and they
reasons.
did not have their decision finalized
Yeah.
going into it.
Right. Which then, yeah. So
That's a bad sign.
all the confidence. So yeah, it was like just plummeting as their story went on. I was like, oh man, this is really not going to work out now, is it?
No,
'Cause there's just
so
all of this, and then yeah, because I feel like during the talking head, you should be, oh, I'm so excited, like I can't wait to spend my life with this person, and it's been a great journey together, and et cetera, and all this stuff, and then there's just none of that during the prep of the getting ready for it.
right. The mood wasn't there. You should be, over the moon excited. This is the best day of your life. So we should be hearing about that.
Yeah.
But instead, we're hearing about Monica's sister, which this theme kept coming in. And first, we see Monica's sister getting ready with her, and she brings a pretty negative vibe sometimes. And she says, Monica, I don't know if I can trust you sometimes with the people you bring home. And she says, in high school, you brought home some pretty questionable people to our house. And Monica says, that was 15 years ago in high school.
Yeah, this
Come
was
on.
weird. I don't know. I still feel like the sister has something against her during this whole process, and is totally against the wedding and really not for them at all. And
I think the sister wants to be the person on Love is Blind. I don't know what it is.
well, I think she was very happy that they they didn't work out, but
Which is sad, but
yeah.
then in interviews, Joey mentions that, things were shaky with Monica's sister, and I don't trust that. And the last I talked to her, I had her blessing, but not her support, which is a red flag. So this was floating in his head on this day as a big doubt.
I think this is ultimately where they failed as a couple, was clearly their communication. I felt like Ben and Sarah and Joey and Monica were like almost the inverse reasons of why they fell apart. Where Ben and Sarah, on deeper issues, they just didn't really mesh well, but they just kind of went along with it. they at least got to the deep stuff, but they didn't go well with it. Where Joey and Monica, from a shallow level, were great. I mean, they look great together on the outside. They're very friendly and whatnot, but then it seems like they never got to many deep issues or even really talked about things that were, what were their doubts going into the wedding, or what did they need to talk about to help clear up things before saying yes. I mean, Monica was still unsure about Joey going into it. I mean, she did kind of bring it up at that date at the conservatory that he wasn't as forward with things, or just showing as much as affection that she would like. But
Well, I think the problem was that was like the first time she brought up some of these deeper issue things, and
yeah,
or the first like legitimate long conversation about it, such as the touch issue that they had, where Joey's not a touchy-feely person and Monica is, but that's something Joey was working on, but that also gave Monica some doubt. That was a huge issue that it seems they didn't really get past. And then there's something about Joey that he seemed reserved, like he's not fully diving into the whole situation or telling Monica how he feels. And yeah, I think if they would have had a conversation saying, hey, like, I'm 100% in on this whole thing. Are you? Like, what percentage are you in this whole thing? Like, are you fully invested in this? Before they walked down the aisle, maybe they could have worked it out then.
Yeah, I mean, I would have think from Joey's side, he would have probably tried to bring up more, maybe a little bit more about the sister, and hey, if we're gonna get married, like, is this gonna be potentially problematic? Like, is she still gonna be thinking bad about me, or having reserves against me, or we'll be able to work through that or something? Because he mentioned, after she says no, that, oh, well, maybe this is because her sister didn't like me and they didn't think I would be a good fit for the family.
They should have talked more about all this stuff.
And then Monica was like, oh, well, I just didn't feel like he was 100%. So it just felt like there's things they could, if they just talked about those things, I think they would have worked out. But they just never seemed to.
Until they got to the end of the aisle. So when it comes time for Monica to say, I do or I don't, she says, I don't right now because we're not 100%. And Joey says, that's totally okay. I agree that we're not 100%. I also feel that way. They hug, they say goodbye. In an interview, Monica says, if Joey would have just told me I'm 100% in this, that would have changed what I said completely. And he didn't tell me that. So I think Monica picked up he wasn't 100%. She said that. Then he's like, thank God I don't feel 100%. And that was the first time he was honest about his feelings. And that's how they left that, which was unfortunate that happened that way.
I mean, she, like you said, she mentioned, well, if he says yes, then I'll say yes. And it looks like they asked her first because, she's the one, they don't even show Joey. So I guess she was the first one too. So then
Which
I was
that's
like, that
kind of mean.
I figured, with her wanting that, they would have maybe had Joey go first then.
That just goes to show, like, don't mention that you're waiting for the other person's answer, else they'll just flip it around and make you go first.
Yeah. So then at that point, I was almost wondering, like, is Monica almost saying no to try to test him, to get him into saying, I'm so stunned, like, I'm into this. I want us to move forward, and get him to basically say all the things that she wanted to hear, and then she would have been like, oh, all right, then let's do this.
That's interesting. But I think, like, deep down in her heart, she knew this man is, like, not 100%, and I deserve to have somebody 100% into me. So I just need to just say, I'm put on the spot right now. So my true feelings are, I don't believe you're fully bought in this, and that's not right.
Yeah. But, and too, I mean, and especially I think with him just saying, oh, well, yeah, I'm not that invested either, fully invested either.
It looked like a huge weight was lifted off of his chest. He's like, oh, thank God you said it, because I'm not invested.
Yeah, so then
like,
that didn't go well. And two, here, I mean, I think you can tell he wasn't. I mean, he's mentions it, but yeah, I mean, he's not really devastated from it either. I mean, yeah, like he looks almost glad that she feels the same way because I think he almost thought he was gonna have to be maybe the one to say no, I'm
Right. He's like,
not.
thank goodness I didn't have to go first here.
So yeah, so I mean, neither one of them are really seems like super devastated by.
I think Monica's a little bit more devastated than
Yeah, I
Joey
would say
is.
she is more. I think it's because I guess for her it is more of, oh well, he really wasn't that interested in me then, so she took it. So it was more of a pain point for her.
Well, in her interview, she said, I hope to be walking out of here with Joey, and it's so sad to me that he doesn't feel as strongly for me as I feel for him, and that she wanted him to be her person for the rest of her life, and now it's ending this way. So
That's why I almost feel like her response was almost somewhat of like a little bit of a test to see.
Yeah, this
In
whole
order
thing,
for him to like really
it was
be
a
like,
test.
since he didn't have to go first, that was her way of trying to get him to come out and say whether.
But he really showed her nothing to.
But yeah, I think that's the thing too. I think
To
she
do
tried
that.
to constantly sit there and set up, give him the chance to just say, I'm in this. I'm all about you. Let's go. And he never did that, so she never had the confidence to move on. So.
He just didn't like her fully.
This was like This was the weirdest reaction too, because they walked back down the aisle after they said no, and then they talked for like 2 seconds, and then she's like, "All right, well, bye." And then she just
And that's how they leave each other forever.
walked
Yeah.
off. Yeah, yeah. That was like. I mean, that's obviously a very awkward moment. How are you going to make it any less awkward? But I guess just kind of rip the Band-Aid off.
But why
with
go
it.
through with this wedding if Joey? I think Joey would have said no, right, if they went to him.
But this
and
again
he
too
sets up this whole wedding to be so beautiful. But I mean, I don't know if you call his longboarding into the wedding beautiful, but he makes sure to longboard his way in.
Yeah, that was weird.
But
But at least the chair for the sister
that was
really
beautiful.
nice.
Very
Yeah.
touching. They set up a wheelchair for his sister that passed away so she would have a seat at their wedding. And they kept zooming into his mom, who was so touched by that. And they made a special mention to her in the ceremony, which was really, really sweet.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very nice ceremony. But I mean,
I wish he had intentions of making it the big I do moment. And
but yeah, once again, I feel like this could have been avoided and not been a decision that had to be made at the altar. This could have been, the day before.
right, like,
or
let's talk
just,
seriously about this.
Just,
Right.
yeah. Do you want to go through with this? Are you fully invested in this?
It seems like they didn't even have that conversation. Wouldn't that be a good one to have? Hey, are you thinking about saying yes tomorrow? Can I know?
Yeah.
Are they allowed to talk about that?
I would imagine, yeah. I mean, prisoners just can't say no.
But also, if you're wondering whether or not your partner is going to say yes the day after you're asking that question, that's probably not a good sign.
Yeah, right. No.
You should probably go in with like a bunch of confidence that this is going to work out, not be like, hey, I need to ask some questions about whether or not this person's going to say yes or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a difficult situation because you don't get much time. So I get it, but still.
And two, looking back now and kind of thinking about their relationship, it does look very amicable, and I don't think they had a lot of talks where they really got in depth about anything, or at least
They're
that they
buddies.
aired. They never aired them
friends.
having super deep conversations. So looking back, I guess like, well, it does. I guess it looks almost more amicable than a romantic thing.
Well, some other things about the wedding I wanted to note. We looked at the bridesmaids and they looked like they were holding weeds as flowers or pieces of grass.
Yeah, there wasn't. I don't know what the flower was supposed to be for her wedding because it. Yeah,
It looked
there was
like
no
they walked
bulbs or
outside
anything.
and
Yeah.
then they took a handful of grass and put it in their hand.
Yeah.
Something else I noted was Joey said the first time that he heard that Monica loved him was right there at the altar. And other than that, they never said I love you to each other.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, that was Yeah, I mean that's a pretty big. Which too, I wonder, was this I love you in an amicable way or a romantic way? I would almost think amicable,
Regardless, it's
being
the
that you're.
first
But
time
yes,
that
yeah,
someone said it. So
yeah. So going into that and not even mentioning that before does seem a little strange. It definitely doesn't give you confidence going into it.
basically, both never got that deep in the conversations that they were having with each other. And then they both have different perceptions of why this didn't work out at the end. So
Yeah,
that's where we end. So let's go into our next couple, Devin and Virginia.
yeah.
Yeah,
The biggest upset here.
this was crazy. They both go in seeming so happy about their upcoming day. Seems like everything's going really well. The families are getting along.
Yeah, this was the one where they had that both their talking heads at some point before and during the wedding prep, and they were both so excited, and I was like, this is how the wedding should be. Like, you should be excited for this, and this looks great. And
Devin says in his interview, it's a yes for me. So we already know he's going to say yes.
yeah. And then, I mean, Virginia didn't look hesitant or anything. I mean, she was very
Excited.
about it, and
She
she didn't
seemed
give any sign
emotional.
to seem like that there was going to be a no coming.
Yeah, she just sounded emotional and excited.
Yeah.
So their moms bond and talk with each other, which I thought was really nice for them to have that family bonding time. This is why I really thought it was going to work out.
Yeah, true, because you didn't even see with the other two, the families even talk to each other.
Yeah, they didn't cross paths and have deep conversations with each other, but the families seem to get along so well and they seem to really like each other.
Yeah, I mean, this all seemed like a well match made.
Yes, and Devin's mom hugs Virginia while she's getting ready and welcomes her to their family, and his sister hugs her and says she's excited for her to be in the family, finally another sister to join her. And Devin's mom says, he's a very happy man. And you can see like how much Devin's mom wants this relationship to work because she keeps dropping sentences that are like, he's very happy, wink, wink. Like, in other words, he's going to say yes. So we're just hoping that you do too, like dying for you to say yes.
Yeah, or she's trying to do that to like poke Virginia to see if she'll say anything that would be alluding to a
Right.
yes or.
But she thinks like the way she reacted, okay, good. She'll probably, like, I think Virginia's
Yeah.
demeanor kind of gave off that 90% confidence, like she'll say yes. So his mom was good with that. And she went back to see Devin and she's like, I just bonded with Virginia and I just reminded her of what a great man you are. And she seems excited. And then they keep talking and she says to Devin, I'm just praying that she says yes and that this works out. They all know it's on her for this to work out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all eyes were on her during this.
So Devin's mom's really emotional with him. And then Devin's dad, who doesn't usually say much, he comes in to talk to Devin and he has one line and he says, "We need you to dap this up, son." And he pats him on the back.
Yeah, once again, not much from the father here.
I just love like how talkative his mother is and then like the one-liners that his father comes in with.
Yeah. Which I was like, stud. I mean, I
comical.
would imagine he had to have said more, maybe off camera or something. But
Maybe. He's always in the background if you see him.
right, I mean, he's never been dominating in any of the conversations.
Maybe he's just a reserved guy and, his wife likes to talk, so he lets her
Yeah.
do a lot of the talking.
Yeah.
And then we learn that Virginia's aunt is the wedding officiant, and she comes in and says some touching words about how Virginia's grandmother's watching from heaven, and Virginia's really emotional and cries here. And then I put, if you played a game called Take a Shot every time Virginia says thank you, what would happen? And I think I asked you this during the show, and you said you'd have to wheel me to the hospital and get me a liver transplant.
Yeah.
It was a lot. A lot.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just her, her default thing to go to, but yeah, she throughout the series says it a lot.
Well, she does get a lot of compliments. It's like,
Yeah,
Virginia,
that's true.
you're so pretty. Thank you. Hey, Virginia, this day's going so well. Thank you. Virginia, Devin's so great. Thank you. That's not a compliment on her, but she continues her trend of saying thank you.
Right, yes. No shortage of it here.
Liver transplant. So it's time for the vows. Virginia is crying and emotional. And initially, I thought she was just emotional because it's such a beautiful day. But then you start seeing her face and it looks questionable. But Devin says, I do. And then Virginia says, I'm just not ready yet. And then they zoom into her parents and they look stunned. And her dad says, what?
I was stunned to see the reaction from the parents because even the parents were blindsided by it. Clearly, I mean, the father was like, "What?"
I was devastated watching this for her parents because they were so distraught.
Yeah,
The saddest part here is watching Devin's reaction to this. He was totally devastated, sobbing. Imagine having to hear this in front of all of your family and friends, and the woman you love just rejected you, and you're standing there.
well, see, this is how I would expect if you were crazily invested, right, or just fully invested into this. This is the reaction I would expect is him devastated from this compared to Ben and Joey's reactions, but yeah, I mean he's totally totally devastated by this.
His heart was 100% with her, and his whole world came crashing down when she said no.
No. Yeah, I mean this was like a really really sad scene.
It was almost like too much to even watch. Like it was heartbreaking to watch that. So, yeah, totally devastated, totally shocked, thought that him and Virginia would be a family together and plan their kids, and yeah, this whole world is crushed. And then Devin's parents look devastated too, and they're having to explain to the niece what happened because she's like, why is everybody upset? She's like, a child
Yeah.
who doesn't understand. And then Devin's dad leans over and he says, well, she said no. It's terrible. His mother's so upset. And then both the dads hug. So Devin's dad and Virginia's dad. And Virginia's dad says, I'm really disappointed here. Devin's a great guy. And it would have been nice to be in the family together.
Yeah, I mean it was a very touching scene to hear that from Virginia's father.
So then they have to continue on showing Devin, which I felt terrible for him. But we see him in the car with his mom and he's crying. And his mom says, I really didn't see this coming. And he says, I can't really talk about this right now.
Well, this was the one where it felt like from Ben and Sarah's point of view, I mean, Ben and Joey's point of view, they really didn't follow them a lot after the no either. Where like Devin, it was like they followed him to the car and they were like, and then there he goes back to the.
They were like vultures. It's like, what do you expect to hear? He's choking, sobbing. He can't even talk.
Yeah, which. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was just interesting for them to see how much more they'd filmed of him. Clearly, because how much more devastated he was than the other two. But yeah,
and Joey's like, yeah, hang 10, bro, or whatever. And he has his longboard and he's good to go.
But
Ben is just like, yes, some things don't work out, right? Okay. Hi, guys. Yes, everything is fine. And then Devin's ripped apart.
Yeah.
So then we cut to Virginia and she says, we didn't talk a lot about politics. We started to talk about it, but we didn't get totally in depth with that. And I didn't like some of the answers that he gave when we did talk about it. And there were certain parts of their relationship they didn't yet get to. They haven't connected physically yet. And basically it just boiled down to they needed to get deeper in discussions and more intimate with each other for her to say yes.
I kind of wonder, why couldn't you have even mentioned this, the day before the wedding, or I don't know why does this have to be an alter event for you to say no? Then if you kind of already had these thoughts in your head, like why wait till the altar day to say no to this?
I wonder if you get so far, are you not allowed to cut it off like the night before or something?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe.
I mean, I'm sure you are if it's like devastatingly bad, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I
Maybe the
don't know.
producers want you to say no, so there's all this drama at the altar first. It just quietly being hush hush, and then they get nothing to air for this, so they need you to air saying
Well,
no.
that would be pretty good drama if neither showed up for wedding day.
Yeah, but you would have lost the 30 or 40 minutes, however many minutes you watched of.
No, just use that as like producers knocking on the door of Virginia's house, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't
Or
know.
it could have been like, I don't know, saved it for the reunion or something. Talking points there, but
Okay, another point that got brought up. Virginia says that Devin received a check as a wedding present, and Devin's mom brought it up to her like, "Oh yeah, you guys have that check now." And this was something that Devin never told Virginia about, and Virginia questioned this.
yeah, she says she's like, I wasn't sure if I could really trust him or anything, which I thought this was like crazy because I mean, you haven't even married yet. I mean,
And in
I
her
would
mind,
imagine that he would have mentioned it
he's
once you're.
stealing money.
Yeah, like this almost looked like a. I think, especially with the prenup, I think she was so money conscious and not wanting to get burned by anything fiscally that I don't know. I think she took this way too far.
Yeah, I
I
think
imagine he would have mentioned it during opening gifts or presents or whatnot. I don't know why. Why would he have needed to mention it before the wedding? You never you you know you don't get to see her or talk to her the day of your wedding. I mean, unless when was the check received? But still, I don't.
the way she talked about it sounded like it was weeks ago or something. I really don't know.
Yeah,
How long ago
right.
could it have been? This whole experiment is only 5 weeks, so
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
yeah, I don't
I think
know.
this
A
got
week ago?
blown out of proportion.
I think she's overthinking everything. It's like, oh yeah, there was a
Yeah.
check. He didn't tell me about it. Maybe he cashed it for himself and he's taking all the money when that was a gift.
Yeah, I think she was way too money hungry with this.
And she didn't even talk to him about it. She's like, oh, these are just thoughts in my head.
Yeah, but and then it's like to that as like a thing to help you or influence your decision to say no because of something like
Yeah,
that.
but
was
to your
just-
point, maybe he didn't cash it and he was just waiting for them to get married first.
Yeah, right. Because it was a wedding gift. I mean, you haven't even gotten married yet, so
Weird. It was a good excuse, I guess,
yeah,
but not really a good excuse. I don't know.
yeah,
So they are over.
yeah. So
Not great.
this was definitely the biggest shocker of them all because it looked like leading up to it, they still seemed strong, and then it just seemed like a left field decision, but there it is.
Totally shocking. Yeah. So let's move on to the last couple. They saved them for last. Taylor and Daniel.
Yeah, we at least have one happy ending with
Thank
with
goodness.
these couples.
Oh my gosh, if this would have went south.
Yeah, it did start to be like, man, I'm like, maybe I need to start rethinking all of these people. I mean, they felt definitely the strongest out of them all, because even from last episode or the last episodes, they definitely surpassed like Joey and Monica as far as like the stablest couple. But
Well, they looked also like bonded and very close to one another. Like they cared for each other romantically. I think that was the big difference between them and Joey and Monica.
Yeah, and they had, I think, a lot more conversations and discussions and whatnot.
And they truly just enjoyed doing any activity with each other, and they just looked like a really nice couple.
Yeah, yeah, and so I mean, going in, this was like, wow, we've already had 3 strikeout now. I don't know, maybe, maybe there's some weird thing that happens at the altar,
There's no way, though.
but
I always had such a good feeling about them, and the way they started it out was definitely way better. I mean, Taylor had a robe that says almost Mrs. Hastings on it, and they both wrote each other letters, which was something that the other couples did not do. So, like letters to open up while they're getting ready for their wedding day. Really nice letters saying, "Hey, I'm almost Mrs. Hastings." And his said something like, "Yep, we're going to be married in a little while." Something alluding to the fact that we're saying, yes, we're getting married.
yeah, yeah, they and their reactions I felt were I mean theirs were way over the top. Like Devin and Virginia's were good, but theirs during the talking heads and stuff were way over the top with it. Where like, Daniel was like, I can't even believe this day is here and this is actually happening.
Yeah, this is my wedding day. I'm about to get married. I'm so excited. Like acting the same exact way you said someone who's really excited about their wedding day should be acting.
This felt like, I mean, they keep talking like, they've known each other for a long time, but this did feel like, you know, they'd almost been dating for quite a while now, and were like they dated normally, and we're having a wedding versus like this whole accelerated thing. But
Yeah, they bonded really fast, and you can definitely see that. And with his letter, Daniel gave Taylor a bracelet so she can have a part of him while she got ready for the day until they saw each other, which was really nice. And then Daniel's hanging out with his groomsmen, and they are asking, "How's the intimacy, bro?" And he said, "Oh, we're keeping it PG, or we've kept it PG, but once we get married, we'll be closer." And so they talked about that a little bit. And you see the family members getting really emotional too. So Daniel's dad comes in and talks to the groomsmen and Daniel, and he's getting emotional just remembering Daniel's birth. And so he's like replaying all these childhood things in his head. And that was nice to see.
yeah, yeah, they had nice moments during their preparation.
And then Taylor's dad sees her, and this part was really emotional.
Well, this was exactly
Yes, this was the clip,
this
right?
was the preview part of her crying to try to throw her, and I was like, this is exactly where this moment is. It's got to be like the dad seeing her for the first time, and voila, it was totally that.
You
But
said it was either that or their dance together, and it was that. So
yeah, because I thought they would do more of the reception, but they really didn't do much of the reception at all this time around.
when Taylor's parents see her for the first time, her dad's pretty emotional and says, "I didn't know if I'd be here to witness this moment. I'm so grateful I'm here." And she says, "I didn't know if you'd be here either." And they're crying, and it's really touching. And Taylor says how lucky she is to have both of her parents walk her down the aisle and be present on her wedding day. So you can tell she really cherishes that she has them. And that was a really beautiful scene.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the whole thing was kind of touching all around. I mean, every moment of it was a great special moment with everyone.
Yeah.
From Daniel's side to Taylor's side.
So her parents walk her down the aisle. They both say really nice things about each other, very genuine and nice. And something nice that Taylor said was that she feels like their souls have known each other for a long time, even though they haven't known each other for a tremendously long time. And you can see that with the two of them. But they both say yes to each other. Yay, thank goodness.
Yeah, we finally have one stick it through. But I actually wanted to say too, the sister, Daniel's sister, plays the piano. Who is blind and plays
This
the
was
piano and
so
sings.
nice.
And the way she sung the "Can't Stop Falling in Love with You" by Elvis Presley, I love that rendition. I thought that whole thing was like phenomenal. The way the
Amazing.
playing and the singing, like that was really cool for them, and I'm sure Daniel really enjoyed that. But yeah, that was great.
What a special moment. You walk down the aisle to his sister singing this beautiful song and showing off two beautiful talents, her voice and her piano skills. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she sang it in a way that I don't think I've really ever heard anyone cover it in a way.
yeah,
And it was really cool.
it was really nice.
Yeah,
Really, really nice. It was just touching all around. What a great
yeah.
ceremony.
I guess yeah. I mean, every aspect of it was just perfect for them.
Yeah. So they have fun at their reception and then they have some interviews after, but both of the families really like each other, and I think this one's really set up for success, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I mean, they look strong. I don't see issues coming down the road, and I'm sure by reunion they'll still be together and strong. And yeah, I think they've got what it takes to go the distance.
That's our prediction. They'll still be together at the reunion and they'll have a
Yeah,
marriage that will
absolutely.
last.
Yeah.
And I just love their love for Christmas too.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure they'll talk all about the Christmas.
I can't wait to
how
hear
their
more about their
Christmas went.
Christmas
Yeah.
stuff.
I'm sure that'll be a big talking point for them.
Yeah, I hope they talk about that at the reunion. But
Yeah.
those are our 4 couples. 1 marriage.
Yeah. 3 failed. Or 3 never happened.
What a crazy ride.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going in, I guess, expecting the one, and 2 more happened. And now we have reunion or Sunday.
We have the reunion in 2 days. And by the time this is up,
Yeah.
like 1 day or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
What'd you think about the previews so far for the reunion? They're making it look like a lot of drama.
Well, yeah, but I think that's all the drama that is going to happen. Those are all the big talking points, and then everything else is just going to be like filler or fluff.
Okay, so first we have Dave.
Dave is that's going to be, they'll talk about Lauren. I do think they'll be like the couple they talk about the longest. They'll definitely eat up the most of the time.
Do you think Dave's sister will be at the reunion?
I don't think she'll be there, but I think she will be a big talking point in their conversations.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's what I think about them. I think Monica and Joey, they'll probably ask about what happened afterward.
I hope so. I want to hear some more about that.
So they'll probably have some time, not a whole lot. We hear some drama potentially with Devin and Virginia, where I don't know, it sounds like an ex-girlfriend or something was reaching out to Devin like the day before.
He left a note on his nightstand or something.
Yeah, something along those. I don't know, something where he's potentially talking to some other female or something. So.
Devin.
So I guess we'll see what unfolds there. Then
there's more Sarah and Ben talk.
Yeah, I guess they may probably see if they ever talked after that, or like what are they? Did they still stay friends or something afterward? Which I can't imagine.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm sure they'll be like, oh yeah, we're still amicable or something, or we're still friends.
Maybe
but
not.
They're not. Maybe, yeah.
And then there looked to be some Meg and Mason drama.
I guess there's something. Yeah, I guess maybe something happened after like their reunion because they're I guess are interested in potentially dating or something.
They had their own reveal.
Oh right, yeah, I guess yeah.
We still have to look that
dating, but so yeah, it looks like maybe something happened there. And then
Madison pulls a note out of her dress and says, "Yes, well, I have the receipts." So she printed out something.
Or screenshots.
Or yeah.
I guess it's probably, I don't know, maybe Mason tried to talk to.
Oh gosh, I hope not.
Mason, or he tried to reach out to Madison again while talking to Meg, or maybe
it's
effect.
The Alex conversations. Maybe Alex said something bad in some messages.
Yeah, well, because she did say like Alex apparently just had no care for Mason after the pause or something.
Which
So
I find that
maybe that's
hard to believe.
some of that.
But
So yeah, I guess we'll see something juicy there.
lots of drama.
But I think those are going to be probably the big, and then everything because I guess really those are probably it. I don't know what else they would. There's really not much else to talk about otherwise.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll bring. Well, I guess we'll see. Are they going to bring old cast members and add this weird filler that?
Probably
like
because they
last time?
always do this weird filler thing.
Well, we saw like a bunch of people were joking around with saying like it would be Dave's sister instead of
Like,
old people.
It'll be like Dave's family and friends and his sister like sitting in the middle with the spotlight.
Yeah, like they're those special guests that show
Which
up.
honestly, way more interesting. That
I
could
mean,
be
yeah,
cool.
it would be. Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll see how reunions go.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the reunion. I can't wait to see it and then recap it.
Yeah. I guess the other thing is that everyone actually looks about the same. There's no crazy changes as like last time.
Well, Madison's hair is
Well,
back to
right, yeah.
blonde.
That's true, yeah. She looks like a whole different person. Like when I saw the outfit thing that they showed, like
The outfit
I didn't even know who that was.
is very unique.
Like I would have never guessed that was even her.
Yeah, I think I told you the only way I knew it was her was because I saw the butterfly tattoo on her arm and I remembered she had that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she does look very different.
Yeah, I guess she's the one that is kind of the total different, but everyone else looks about the same. Joey looks like his hair might be a little bit longer, but that's about it.
And he has a longboard again.
Yeah. But yeah, we will watch and report back on that once
Yeah.
it comes out.
Why is it coming out at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
Yeah, I don't know.
We have to wait all day on Sunday to see it here.
That is a little weird because all the other ones would come out like midnight, so or what, like 3 a.m. or something.
Yeah, this isn't fair.
Yeah, that seems strange, but I guess I don't know because they want to make sure so on Monday morning everyone's talking about it or something. I don't know.
I guess. Everybody stay up real late so you can watch it. But if you're in a different time zone, that's better.
Yeah,
We'll start at 6, 7, 8 for you.
indeed.
Well, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of A Fine Podcast.
Yes, we hope you liked our conversation today, and let us know what you think about the wedding days and the yeses and nos.
Yes, give us your feedback on everything, all couples.
And don't forget to check out our social media if you haven't already, and like and subscribe if you like our content.
Yes, please subscribe, and we will see you shortly for a reunion recap.
We'll see you then.
Bye.